Welcome to the Vault Studios NFL podcast, an Australian twist on all things NFL. The boys are cracking into a nice cold beer from Burnley Brewing. Let's join them.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, JA, and I am joined on a beautiful Monday evening in Melbourne by my great friend, Richie and JA. How are you, buddy?
Excellent, mate. How are you?
It's good. I'm good. All reports are we are going to get out of lockdown at midnight tomorrow night. Fingers crossed. Who knows? They obviously those protests just had such a massive effect on the government that we're straight out of it. So all the people that went and protested, well done, guys. You did it. I'm sure it was all your protesting that got us through. So I appreciate you.
Pack of dickheads.
Yeah, and in a serious note, you're all fuckwits. And if that means you don't listen to the show anymore, I couldn't care less.
The worst thing, they're just fucking selfish. How selfish?
I don't get how that would make it. I trust me, I don't want lockdown more as much as anyone else. Like, I don't want it at all. No one does. But how does protesting help? It could only have had a negative effect on the outcome. I'm all for doing things for rights. Like, when the Black Lives Matter protest went, the protest went, that was fine. Didn't hurt anyone. It was just people getting their voice out there. This could have made it worse. Now, all reports are it hasn't at the moment, but who knows? I'm just a stupid thing. And you know what? If you're a protester and you don't like my opinion, it's my fucking show. So get stuffed. You dumbasses. I couldn't care less. Don't listen. I'd rather have zero listens than have protesters listening. So
it's like it's the same people who none of them have masks on either. No. And again, it's the most selfish thing you can do. At the end of the day,
were peaceful, at least. I will say they were peaceful and they were polite and they didn't fight or riot or do anything. They just marched through and then left. It's unlike Sydney. If you're one of the guys in Sydney, you're even more of a fuckwit because why go fighting cops? Like that's a good fight. That's a fight you're gonna win. Punching up with cops. Enjoy your fines, you morons. But yeah, I wonder if all those protesters got fined though in Melbourne.
They'll try and ping as many as they can, as they should.
That's good. I hope every single one that walked through, they went, ID, yep, you've been fined. Here's $500. Here's $500.
The main thing's getting the organisers. They're the ones you got to go after.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot of sheep in that group.
A lot of sheep. And yeah, a lot of people that don't even know. I saw one guy say, someone asked him, this is going to add more cases potentially, which will put us in lockdown for longer, which is the opposite of what you want. And he went, they can't get more cases if we don't get tested. I was like, ooh, but what if you have it and you don't get tested and you spread to 1,000 people, you fucking idiot.
Selfish.
And they will get more cases. More
Selfish.
Lowest common denominator of people out there and having a protest. But hey, if you don't like our opinion, as I said, there's a door. Take it. I don't care. Let's get into it. Firstly, big news, Richie, and I'm dropping this on you. I didn't even tell you before. New sponsor for the show.
Oh.
Yeah. I've been doing some work, Garraway. And you know how I get. Once I get on it, I'm on it.
My pay is going up?
Yeah, your pay is going up from $0 to $0.
Yes.
And a box of beer, obviously. I don't forget about that.
I kind of got that already.
Yeah, so I mean, that's you're not getting anything else. But our new sponsor, Dark Horse Electrics. I work personally with Dylan. Met him about a year ago doing some work at my company. I've now left that company and gone to another one. He's coming over with me because he's that freaking good. Absolutely outstanding electrician. Very fair, very reliable, always does the right thing. And he approached me about coming on board for a sponsorship. And I accepted, obviously. And I want to thank Dylan for doing that. He's one of our patrons, been a long-time patron, a long-time listener of the show, and now a sponsor of the show. So get yourselves. He's not on Facebook, I don't think. He's on Twitter personally as Dylan Horsburgh, so give him a follow there. But on Instagram, he's got his electrician's page, Dark Horse Electrics. Go give it a like. If you've got any electrical work, give him a call. I said you will not regret it. I guarantee you. So thank you very much to Dark Horse Electrics for coming on board. Love your work. Also, our longtime sponsors, Burnley Brewing. We teased with the beer before. Thank you for your sponsorship as well. It's absolutely unbelievable. And if you are a patron this month, obviously you get a choice. We pick two winners. And one will be the Juju Smith-Schuster jersey, which is here. If you're on video, you can see it. And the other will be a box of beer and a stubby holder that looks like this from Burnley Brewing. Mine's a bit, look how raggedy mine is now, Rich. God, it's had some rounds.
Getting old.
The bottom fell out of it. I think maybe it's about time that maybe Chloe can hook me up with a new stubby holder. I have to have a chat with her. It's been hard to get beers off her, though, because obviously with the lockdown, the poor buggers get locked down every chance. So if we do get out of lockdown tomorrow night, or if we don't, and you live near Richmond, 648 Bridge Road, Richmond, get in there, support them, buy their beer at bottle shops, wherever you see it, 6-pack, whatever, buy it. You will not regret it. It's outstanding. And sign up to the Patreon if you are interested in trying to win a box or a signed piece of memorabilia for only $10 a month. I will just say, I wanted to quickly mention someone. I just want to get his name right. Jason Sullivan, I believe his name is. I'm just trying to find it because I want to get it exactly right. I'm stalling here and I can't find him.
While you're stalling, just Dark Horse Electrics. First off, great logo.
Terrific logo.
Great logo. And I've just given him a follow. Scrolling through, he's a DeWalt man as well. So we're already friends.
DeWalt man, big Chiefs fan as well. And we just did, me and Lewis, Wednesday night, just did a podcast for his fantasy football team. He did a Patreon podcast where we basically went through and analysed his fantasy football league. They're in a dynasty league. It's a 10-team league, so it's kind of a girls' league. We did, and we were going to release it to public. Then after me and Lewis got stuck into it with maybe a couple of Burnley Brewings under our belt, we decided, because he wanted it to be very banterful and to go after a few guys, and he gave me a lot of inside information to kind of attack people. And you know what I'm like, Richie. Once I get going and I start attacking, I attack. So I thought it's probably not great. Some of the lines from me and Lewis, even Lewis got stuck into it. Probably wasn't great to release to everyone, but all the boys absolutely loved it, and it was a lot of fun. It was a hoot. Quickly, Jason Sullivan, long-time listener of the show, he messaged me a while ago, and I've been chatting with him a bit back and forth. He's over from WA, and he has a beer club or something over there, and he spoke to the guy, and he got them to add some Burnley Brewings to his beer box. I haven't responded to his message yet. I wanted to mention you on the show first, Jason, but I will write back and let you know I've given you a mention. But that is absolutely awesome, and that's the stuff that helps someone like Burnley Brewing support us. And in through a rough time, someone who listens to the show, talking to someone with a bottle shop in WA, and you know what they've bought. If they do 100 packs of beer a month. Sorry, 100 packs of beer a month. They do. So that to buy enough to put a 4-pack in every single box. So that's a bit of business that goes their way, and that's the great thing about our community. I think everyone kind of looks after everyone and helps out. So awesome stuff, and thank you to Jason, and thanks for the message, mate. I will respond and let you know to listen in, but I do really appreciate that. It's awesome stuff. And also, Richie, remind me, I got to message Aaron Laxon. Aaron, love your work, mate. I got your message, completely forgotten right now to respond to you. You'll get a response tonight, but I know you're a listener, so you'll hear this. Let's get into the news, Richie, and a little bit went on this week. Not a ton, but I just want to start with something really sad. A long-time NFL assistant coach, Greg Knapp, dies following a bicycle incident. He was the passing game coordinator for the New York Jets. He'd been working really closely with having a mental blank on his name. Zach Wilson. Had an accident riding a bike the other night. From what I've seen, it was a complete accident. The driver certainly hasn't been charged or anything like that. So I think it was just one of those really horrible things. Went into pretty much an instant coma and unfortunately didn't wake up. So yeah, his wife, got 3 daughters. Just really terrible news. Been a long-time NFL guy. He started in the NFL back in 1995 for the San Francisco 49ers after some stints in college. Played in the NFL as a Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Raiders, and San Fran 49er, and has been through San Fran. He was offensive quality control, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator at the Falcons, the Oakland Raiders, the Seattle Seahawks, Houston quarterback coach, Oakland Raiders offensive coordinator again, Denver Broncos quarterback coach when they had Peyton Manning, the Atlanta Falcons quarterback coach, and then he'd move over to be the passing game specialist for the New York Jets. So just really, really sad news. Thoughts with his family. I know it probably means nothing, but just terrible. And thoughts with the whole Jets organization, their families and everything, because that's hard. And going into a season with a young quarterback, I imagine that's going to be even harder with them to kind of get things right and shift things around. So I wish them all the best with that.
Yeah, sad day for the NFL.
Yeah, it is. Let's move on to the football news. This is a little bit sad, not as sad because no one's passed away, but Cam Akers out for the season with a torn Achilles. The Rams' second-year running back who had a really good rookie year, a lot of promise this year coming his way, obviously with Stafford being thrown in. Big news for the Rams. This is, I guess of all the positions to lose, you probably want it to be a running back in the modern NFL, but still sucks losing a quality football player on your offense.
Absolutely. You never want to lose talent out the door, and you're right. He was coming on, had a pretty good year last year, and that'll hurt depth at the end of the day. As you said, look, if you can pick a position where you got to lose somebody, it's probably one of the earlier positions you go to, but still, no one likes losing talent.
No, absolutely not. And he was going to be quite a dynamic player for them. So that's real sad news. In LA, over to the San Francisco 49ers, Fred Warner, the star middle linebacker who we discussed a couple of weeks ago being, probably the best linebacker in the NFL now. He is now paid. It was around 5 years, $95 million. Makes him the highest paid linebacker in the NFL. I said, I'm not one, and I think you're very similar to me, Richie. I'm not one of these people that get up in arms about how much players get paid. I really, in 5 years' time, he'll be probably the seventh paid middle linebacker in the league. It's just the way the NFL works. The cap keeps climbing, and that's how it all goes. So I'm not going to get upset. He deserves the money. He's the best player at his position, so he needs to be paid that way.
Go get your money, man.
Yeah, go and
yeah. I'm never going to get up the player about getting a pay rise ever. I might get up an organization, but I'll never get up a player. Good on it. Good on him. Go get your money.
He's 24 years old.
Yeah,
Fred Warner. So he is going to play out the 5 years of that deal. So it's going to be well and truly worth it for them. I have no issue with that. And congratulations, getting a bit of pay. It's must be nice. He's now got a lot of dough, and his life's pretty secure now. So it must be a good feeling for him after working so hard. Quickly before we get into the team preview, the new rules around the vaccines. Did you see this, Richie? That if one of your players that isn't vaccinated is involved with a spread and that in turn causes a game to be cancelled, you will have to forfeit the game now.
Yeah, basically they're looking, they want everybody to get vaccinated. Simple as that. And the way they're going to do it is by guilting everybody into getting it done, basically saying, if someone in your team gets it, your game has to be postponed. It can't be replayed, and we have to cancel it. And now they'll be more likely to cancel it than try and replay it. You lose. It's an interesting way to go about it. Unfortunately, in America, COVID and masks and vaccines seems to have fallen down political lines, which just blows my mind, but it has, which is obviously unfortunate for them. They're going through a second wave with the Delta variant as well. And people who are dying, 99.95% of them aren't vaccinated. What a fucking shock.
Yeah.
This thing it is extremely, it can get you very ill. It can kill you. If you are fully vaccinated, you can still catch it, obviously, but the symptoms are massively reduced, and it's more likely to feel like a bit of a nasty cold than anything else. By all accounts, people who are fully vaccinated who do catch it, to them, it's not even like getting the flu. It's more like catching a cold.
Yeah.
So, and you're less likely to spread it as a part of it. So, any vaccine's a good vaccine. All the narrative around it is just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. You know me, JA. I travelled to regional Victoria to get my vaccine. It's the only way I could get in quick enough. I've got my second one in a couple of weeks. And basically the NFL said, you will not ruin our product because you're a science denier, is basically where they've put it. I mean, I come across an anti-vaxxer and the next thing I ask them is the earth flat? Like, this is just fucking stupid. Like, it is just straight science, and people can come back at me with all sorts of their bullshit. I'm not listening, guys, because you're going off what you read on fucking Facebook, and I'm going off what scientists go by.
The media trying to inject something in us to make us watch their Facebook ads. Richard.
Whatever. It's the biggest
also
load of shit.
the cigarette companies. They want to make us smokers. It's the drinking companies. They want to make us alcoholic. We're going to turn into zombies. You know, you get blood clots from it. Do you know that? In somewhere between 20 and 70 days, you get blood clots.
Do you want to know a cooler thing about that? Even the tiny risk of someone having a blood clot, which is it's a real risk. There is a small percentage, minuscule, I should say, percentage who may experience that. Most people probably don't know, but 85 Australians get severe blood clots and get hospitalized because of blood clots every single day that have nothing to do with the vaccine. Sometimes they just happen. You do just get them. And then sometimes they're caused by other things that we put in our bodies. The risk of getting a blood clot from fucking AstraZeneca is so minuscule. And don't give me but this person did die of it. You know what? They did. And that's horrendously sad. But the risk of that is so small versus all the other things we do to our body. We get in our cars every single day. Chance you dying driving to work is way higher than you getting a blood clot.
Also, I've seen some people put some pretty shitty things in their body on a Saturday night that are now like, I will never get vaccinated. I'm like, I've been out with you before. I've seen you.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll drop 4 Eckies and drink a handful of cans. I mean, fucking spare me, people. It's just so minuscule. So now that I've gone on my rant, the NFL at the end of the day is protecting its product.
It is.
And that's all they care about.
Team. And you know what? All these guys that came out and said, I've never wanted to not be in the NFL more than what I do right now. Don't be.
Bitch. There are 1,000 players lining up to take your spot.
DeAndre Hopkins put a tweet out saying that and then minutes later deleted it because I reckon maybe someone at the club called him and said, hey, if you don't want to fucking be here, we'll give you $25 million to someone else a year. It's all good. Like, if you don't want to, you won't be playing for anyone else. You'll only be hurting us. So it's not like you're going somewhere else to play. Like, I imagine that's what they said. So you might want to delete that because, I said, I'm not going to buy into we'll give up our money. It was like when Levy and Bell was all the Black Lives Matter movement. And they were like, NFL players should sit out games and not play. When push came to shove, they played. Money talks, unfortunately, and these guys earn a crap load of money for playing a sport. So spare me I've never wanted to not be in the NFL more. DeAndre Hopkins, I love you. You're a terrific player, and I really enjoy you. But don't. If it's that big a deal, give back your $25 million, give back your $60 million signing bonus, and fuck off. They're your options, unfortunately. It's just
and this is
to say that these guys think they have.
But this is the thing. We all get vaccinated against a million things.
I had to get the flu vaccine for my work. They said you have to have it if you want to come into our office. I was like, okay.
Yep. And workplaces all over the US do that. And here as well. I mean, the amount of vaccines that I've had over my lifetime and almost every other person has too. I'm like, what do you... I can't comprehend it. Like, to the fact that in Australia, to make sure parents actually took their kids to get vaccinated, we had to threaten to take off their fucking Centrelink payments because they're too fucking lazy to go and get a free shot to protect their kid. What kind of shit parent are you?
It's the world, Richie.
Christ.
I love it when you're all riled up.
Just...
it is. It's the world we live in. But yeah, I think the NFL are going to have a pretty firm line with this that you have to be at 80% vaccinated rate for your team. And I think there's only 2 teams that aren't, and they're right on the cusp of it. But what it'll get to the point is if you're a fringe player, right, or even say you're like Cole Beasley in Buffalo, for example, he is one of the biggest advocates, kicking up a fuss. I'm not getting vaccinated. Cole's a solid wide receiver, a slot wide receiver in the NFL. I guarantee you there's other guys that can do what he does, and they're probably on the street, and they will just go, you know what, we need one more guy to get to 80%, and Cole Beasley won't do it. But this wide receiver who's been pretty good is already vaccinated. Let's whack him in the roster and cut Cole Beasley, and that gets us over the 80%. He's putting your job in jeopardy.
And his argument is, I wouldn't have treatment for a broken leg that I don't have. I'm like, but would you take something that guaranteed your leg never broke?
Yeah, if we could say you can never, ever, ever do a knee damage or get concussion in your entire life, Cole, if you take this pill every day. I fucking guarantee you every NFL player would be taking that going, I can never get hurt. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's
and even if it's not never, even if it's, hey, it's 94% effective.
Yeah, you'd do it.
Like, it just, oh, God, as I said before, fucking spare me. Like, yeah. They're the same people who tell me the Earth is flat, and
the Earth is flat. So don't start on that. All right, that we'll do that next week's podcast. We should have played the garbage time drop. I forgot about it. Let's get in to the preview. Fun one tonight, Richie. The NFC South. We get to talk your Bucks, but we're going to start at. Gosh, I had it up before. The Falcons were last in the league. The Panthers were third. The Bucks were second, but managed to win the division, win the Super Bowl, sorry. And then the New Orleans Saints finished in first at 12-4.
Can I just quickly recap? You actually said that wrong. I know you think you didn't, but you did. You mentioned the Saints twice. Carolina were third.
Oh, did I say Saints twice? Sorry, yeah. Falcons at 4-12. Carolina Panthers at 5-11. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 11-5. And the New Orleans Saints were 12-4. Let's hit up the Falcons. And the first cab off the rank is, how does Julio Jones leaving affect the offense? I don't think losing a star player, as we talked about with Cam Akers before, ever helps. I feel like they were maybe ready, they were maybe ready to move on. But in saying that, it's certainly not a good sign to lose him. You've got a new head coach in the building with Arthur Smith. I know they've got Ridley, who showed last year how good he can be as the number one guy. They've added Kyle Pitts, the draft. But it's a team that it struggles, and losing a weapon like Julio Jones doesn't help.
No, it never helps when you lose someone like that. But it's going to be interesting. Like, what will Arthur Smith's offense look like? Given we saw at Tennessee, it'll give us like some idea of what that Atlanta offense is going to look like, if nothing else from a schematic point of view. We're going to see a lot of zone run, a lot of play action, and a lot of targeted shots down the field. And with guys like Calvin Ridley and the new draft pick Kyle Pitts, it could look really interesting. And I think the most interesting thing is what they do with Pitts. Like, how often are they in two tight end sets versus splitting him out wide? And when he is, what other receivers are they going to have on the field with him? Because after Calvin Ridley,
Gage is okay. I don't mind Gage. He had some solid games last year. Russell Gage, he's okay. They've got Kadarius Patterson, who I think they'll use as a bit of a gadgety guy, playing with some receiver, some running back. They brought over Mike Davis from the Carolina Panthers, who did a good job when McCaffrey was injured last year. He's a real solid zone runner. He can run well. And this offensive line's not terrible. I like Matthews. I think he's a solid left tackle. Is he a top 10 left tackle? No, but he's a starting left tackle on most teams in the NFL. Or
he'll win more battles than he loses.
Yeah, he's solid. They got McGarry at right tackle, who's a first-round pick, 31st pick in the draft a couple of years ago, who's solid again. He's not bad. Lindstrom, who's fought injuries, but last year was pretty good. He's a first-round pick as well. And then you got Hennessy and Andrews, who kind of drop off a little bit there. So their offensive lines, it's doable. Their receiving, I'm comfortable with Ridley. I think Ridley is going to really have a good season. He did very, very well without Julio Jones last year, but the team didn't do as well without him, and that's the problem. It's not just saying, well, Ridley's numbers were good. Yeah, that's all well and good, but if you're not winning, who fucking cares how good your numbers are?
Yeah,
because it's a game of winning. So that's an issue. But
it'd be really interesting because it's new systems on both sides of the ball, because their D didn't start getting good until, like, Dan Quinn is a defensive coach, but it took till they fired him and Raheem Morris took over. That's he started playing better on defense. So clearly, maybe they were sick of the message from Dan Quinn, and Raheem Morris gave him a nice kick along, who is an exceptional defensive coordinator, just quietly, and probably get another shot at some point. But we're off topic.
Was he Bucks coach? He was the Bucks coach, wasn't he? He wasn't terrible. They had a playoff year with him, I believe.
They, either way, look, he's a good defensive coordinator. But this year we'll see someone D's on going blank. Dean Pease, who's now taking over as the defensive coordinator. Look, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what they can do. My concern on the defense side of the ball is there's not a ton of talent there. There's some rebuilding to do. And what happens with Matt Ryan? Is he going to age gracefully where his play declines as he get older, or is he going off a cliff? If he goes off a cliff, they're in trouble and they got a lot of work to do.
He's not that old though, Matt Ryan. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying.
Older than he is. He's 36. Like it's not like he's 40. You know, he's
no. I think
you're right. He's at that point where it does start to happen.
But I think this style of offense is going to suit him.
It will suit him. It's
like play action. He's got a good arm, and get it down the field. One of their biggest problems last year is, surprise, surprise, teams who have a lot of explosive plays do more winning.
Yeah.
Atlanta don't have a heap of those, but you look at teams like you can even recover from having a few too many negative plays if you make up for them with those explosive plays. And that's really what the modern NFL is. Look at the Chiefs. Look at the Bucks last year. Take a sack because Brady has a torn MCL and is a bit of a statue back there, but then you make it up with a 60-yard, pass to Evans or Godwin or someone like that.
Yeah.
So this is what we've got to try and work out. Will this play action game that that Arthur Smith is bringing to Atlanta, is that going to get them those big,
it's a serious
explosive
problem.
plays? And that's the big question for me. I think they've got they're on their way to being a talented team. They just don't have enough right now.
I think offensively they're going to be fine. They're going to be thereabouts. They'll be middle of the pack, maybe better at worst. Mike, as you said before, with their defense, they've got no talent. Grady Jarrett is one of the best interior defensive linemen in the NFL. He's really, really good. Not Aaron Donald good, but really, really good. Deion Jones is a solid linebacker when he's healthy. He has been a bit up and down the last couple of years. Had a better year last year with his health. Hopefully they can get him going again. But they're not great on the back end. AJ Terrell, who they took in the first round last year, didn't look good, but corner's really hard to play, especially in your rookie year. So I give guys time there. But then you've got Harmon, and then you mix that with no pass rush. There's no edge rush. There's no one here that makes it. Dante Fowler, yeah, all right. Like his career ended when he did his knee in his first practice. Like that's unfortunately, he's never been that good. He had one good year, I believe, at the Rams, one solid year at the Rams. So I just don't rate him at all, and I don't think they're going to have any pressure. And poor back end with poor pressure leads to teams getting explosive plays and scoring points, and it puts pressure on your offense to keep up. And I just don't think they're going to be able to play the style that Arthur Smith wants them to play the first season. I think they're going to struggle. I think these guys are going to really struggle.
Some good news for Atlanta, though. They do open the season with the Eagles, the Bucks, the Giants, the football team, and the Jets. 3-2, maybe 4-1 if they get a real explosive start. They've got a chance to start well and feel good about themselves and build some momentum that they might be able to carry through that tougher middle of the season for them. So Atlanta have a chance to be okay, I guess, is what I'm saying. My concern,
tough.
Yeah. So you got 6 tough division games. Thankfully, you finished last, so your couple of ad hoc games should be easier. But, I mean, how many games do you lose? 32-28.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think their defense is going to really struggle, and in clutch moments, they're going to lose games. They're going to cost. And then also under Quinn, they were very choky. Like remember last year, the Cowboys scored 16 points in the last 3 minutes of a game to beat them. Like
Quinn was never up for it ever.
And then there was Gurley
ever since the Super Bowl.
Gurley who accidentally scored a touchdown, whereas if he just taken a knee, which he tried to do, but the defense dragged him in and forced him to score, which I reckon he just didn't click quick enough that, oh crap, I can't score here. As soon as they literally scored a touchdown and then lost the game because of it. So they've had some horrible moments the last couple of years. Hopefully it starts turning around. Ever since that loss to the Patriots, it's gone downhill really quick. Let's see if they can turn around this year, but I'm certainly not. I'm not confident in that defense. Offense is a different story, but defensively, I'm real worried about them. Let's move on to the Carolina Panthers. Big news for me here. We'll talk offensively. I really like Matt Rule as a head coach. He's kind of that modern style. He's a bit of a player's coach, but also a bit of a rah-rah guy, which I think he did a good job last year with a fairly untalented lineup, especially after they lost Christian McCaffrey. They won a lot of games early when they had McCaffrey, and then it dropped off late in the season, which has been a bit of their Achilles heel the last few years, the Panthers.
He only featured in 3 games last year. He left 2 of
Yeah.
those early with injury. Like, he was not there.
He wasn't there. And then they did a great job getting Mike Davis involved and turning him into a solid player. I think Matt Rule did a great job last year with a pretty average team. Teddy Bridgewater is his quarterback, who was okay early, but then again dropped off late. But you add McCaffrey back from injury. They got a good receiving core around him. Like, I was looking at their lineup today. DJ Moore's a really good receiver, very underrated in the NFL, a very good one.
Robbie Anderson too.
Yep, yeah, he can take the top off. He was great. Once teams worked out Teddy Bridgewater, he dropped off. Early in the year, though, when they were generating big plays with him, he was on track for a really big year. I believe he still had 1,000 yards. They've added Marshall Jr., who's a rookie, big upside, tall, fast receiver. And then their offensive line, I like Moten. They just got him signed to a long-term deal, the right tackle. Paredes is a good center. Then after that, I'm worried. Like, Cam Irving starting at left tackle is a big concern for me. Pat Elfline's on his second team already, only 3 years in. He was a first-round pick. It's already on his second team. That's not a good sign. And Daly, the right guard, he's not doing a lot for me. But the big question mark here, and we've buried the lead, and I buried it purposely, is Darnold. They traded for Darnold, which I love the move. Darnold is either going to be terrible and you move on, or he's better than Teddy Bridgewater. Like, what were the Panthers meant to do? Hold on to Teddy Bridgewater for the next 3 years and see what happens? I think it's a great move, the move they pulled.
Couldn't agree more. Was it Sam Darnold or was it the Jets? Who the hell knows? We're going to find out.
Well, and that's enough in college to go in the top 3. So
exactly. So that's the cool thing. We're gonna get to find out. And having brought in Joe Brady now to call plays, he had good success with Joe Burrow last year as a rookie, and maybe he can just treat Darnold as a rookie and say, okay, you're not a rookie, obviously, but I'm going to build the offense and call the plays and all the things and install it and all the rest of it like he's a rookie and help this kid along. Because he clearly got no help at the Jets. He had new systems every other year. So
new coaches. He also had the ultimate quarterback success cock blocker in the fucking history of the NFL in Adam Gase.
Yeah, that didn't help either.
Other than Peyton Manning, who has had success under Adam Gase. And we all know that it was Adam Gase that had success under Peyton Manning, not Peyton Manning.
Yeah, not the other way around. So that's the thing. So there's some good stuff there. But for me, the offense, it all comes around Christian McCaffrey, and can he bounce back from all his injuries?
Offensively, definitely, yeah. And I think he will.
And who knows?
There's no reason why McCaffrey can't be a really good player next year.
Yeah,
I'm sneaky high on the Panthers.
Well, that's the thing. If you flip to the other side, that's a young defense who just added someone like JC Horn in through the draft.
A lot of people think might be the best player in the draft. If he was good, like I know the Cowboys wanted him real bad and were real pissed off he was gone. They used him, but JC Horn's like his ceiling is higher than anyone else in that draft. Yeah. Now his floor's a bit lower too, but
they used practically their entire draft capital on the defensive side of the ball. I think they used all bar one on the defensive side. So they're young. They spent plenty of capital on that defense, and it's really trying to see, can they do it? Like, they brought in Hassan Reddick, they brought in Morgan Fox. They're bringing guys in to go with starters like Brian Burns and
Brian Burns,
Dante Jackson.
Dante Jackson's a really good corner.
Good really players, good and you put JC on the other side. Like I'm like you. I actually think they're going to be okay if Darnold is okay.
Yeah, and also like take into account they hit last year's draft. They fucking nailed last year's draft. Mm-hmm. They got Derek Brown, who a lot of people thought was the best player in the draft, but what normally happens if you're a D tackle and you're the best player in the draft, similar to the Williams in New York, the Jets, dropped to 5. He's now killing it. Derek Brown had a very good rookie year. Interior defensive line is really hard to adjust when you get to the NFL because teams do a lot of different things to you in the inside there. So that's great. And they also nailed Jeremy Chin in the second round, who was close to defensive rookie of the year last year, who went a little bit under the radar. Early on, there was a bit of hype around him because they were winning. Once they dropped off, the storage of him, he had a great rookie year. I think Brian Burns, I listened to a podcast of the week. It was my favorite man, Robert Mays, obviously friend of the show, Robert Mays. They did a redraft, right? A draft of all the players in the NFL, but quarterbacks. You weren't allowed to take quarterbacks. They assumed that everyone had the same competent level of quarterback play, and they drafted players from any position. Brian Burns went number 12.
Wow.
He's very young. He's a lot younger than what you think. Where is he? 23 years old still, going into his 4th year in the NFL. He has improved every single year. His production is very high, and one of the best, they talk about advanced stats, pressures, hurries, quarterback, that sort of stuff, leads all those categories in a lot of ways. Very, very good player. I think if he's in a winning team in a big city, everyone knows who this guy is. So I like that. They also added Denzel Perryman on defense at linebacker. He's come over from the Chargers. Can't cover, not a coverage guy. They were a dreadful run defense last year.
Yeah, he can bang you, though.
He's going to bang. He is going to bang. And then they'll rely on Shaq Thompson and Jeremy Chin to play that kind of nickel linebacker as well. And Shaq Thompson's a really solid inside linebacker. I think you think about this team 2 years ago, losing Luke Kuechly, who is arguably one of the best linebackers in the history of the NFL, to lose him, how quickly they've recovered and got back to a point where I think this defense could be strong. Yeah. I'm sneaky high on these guys. These guys will be competing for a wild card.
I'll put the cherry on top for you.
Yep,
they opened their season with Jets, Saints, Texans, Cowboys, Eagles. If Darnold is competent and McCaffrey is healthy, just look out.
I forgot the schedule. Jets week 1, Darnold going back to fucking New York.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? They don't miss a trick. They don't miss a trick.
Is elite. You've got Cowboys Bucks on the Friday morning, Thursday night. New York Jets having the Panthers mate. Darnold's going to win. Darnold's going to beat them. Like the NFL, I don't care if it's scripted. The Jets are going in and they're losing. They are losing to the Panthers. I think they do the Saints in, and we'll get to the Saints soon. But I think me and you, as normal, we might be on the same page. They'll beat the Texans. Mate, who knows what the Cowboys are going to be like? I'd like to think they won't beat them in Dallas, but who knows? If you're 3-0 on a roll, and then you've got the Eagles, who I don't think are going to be any good either. I also don't think the Vikings are going to be that good. I don't think the Giants are going to be that good. And I don't think the Falcons are going to be that good. That's 8 games where I think they can the only one I think that they should lose is the Dallas Cowboys. I think they can win most of those games.
The start to this, as I said,
you win 5 early games, you're set up.
Donald competent, McCaffrey be back.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think the Panthers, will they be good? I don't know. I think they might, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see them. I'm excited. They've got lots of fun questions that could be really, really, really good to see answered. And I'm a big Darnold fan. I have been. I really like Darnold, and I hope for his sake it was the Jets. And you know what? If it's not, they've invested nothing. They just move on. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Move on. Go to the draft next year. Try and find another guy. It isn't a big deal. Let's move on to the New Orleans Saints. Sorry, they're last. Tampa Bay Buccaneers we'll go to next. I guess I'm not going to bury the lead this time. Let's start with it. All 22. Bless you, Richard.
Thank you.
So good looking.
I tried to get to the mute button. I couldn't get there.
You tried hard, but you couldn't get there.
My apologies.
No, that's all good. Returning 22 starters. That is the first time a team's come off a Super Bowl and returned every single one of their starting players the next season. Keep in mind, they also returned guys like Antonio Brown, who wasn't classed as a starter last year. They added Gio Bernard, who I think he's a great addition as a receiving back. They're 2 little things I've added to make them better. I don't know. It's hard to win 2 Super Bowls. It's really difficult. But we constantly preach, Richie, and I'm worse than you, building from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
This team last year had, I said, arguably one of the best defensive lines in the NFL and arguably one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. And what do? They win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. The biggest thing, and to not bury your lead, is they're the healthiest team in the NFL last year.
Yep, that's
They
true.
finished the season.
Well, they
with the
lost
fewest-
Vita Vita Vey for a lot of the season too, mind you, who was one of the best interior linemen in the league.
100%, but he's just one guy.
True.
And they've got there's a fewest adjusted games lost stat thing.
Yeah.
Either way, Tampa would have lost. So I think it's fair to say they were extremely healthy last year. They were extremely lucky. Even when Mike Evans looked like he was hurt really late in the year in the first playoff game, I can't remember when it was.
Yeah, when his knee
He
bent
played the next week. He played
Yeah.
the next
And
week.
Godwin was
Like-
hurt, but then came back when it mattered.
Yeah,
Brown
got him missed a
came
couple of
in,
games here and there.
They got
Well, he
Antonio
missed the other
Brown,
season. He wasn't on the
Godwin
team.
got hurt. Yeah, but then Godwin gets hurt. Brown comes in and fills in his role for a couple of weeks. You know, it was pretty good.
And look, Gronk got nicked up, but played, and so they were extremely, extremely lucky in that. Following their bye, when we were a bit all at sea before that, as the team was finding its groove, especially on a new quarterback. From the bye, they scored at least 26 points in every single game, and they scored more than 30 in every single playoff game.
Yeah.
That's going to win you games. Now, the question for the Bucs is, can they roll that into this year? Because the defensive front seven is elite. There's no other word for it.
No,
And
it is.
the back four, finally, which I've been complaining about what feels like for 10 years since we started this podcast, seems to be fixed with young guys.
It's a good
who
mixture
can
of young
play.
guys who work hard and a great pressure up front.
Exactly. So I think the defense is set. You kind of roll with however far Brady's going to take us.
Well, and then I'm glad we've got to Brady, because none of this is possible. And you can dislike the Patriots and dislike Brady and think he's a cheater and whatever. Think whatever the hell you want. The bottom line is he's a fucking winner. And there was no more a clearer example of it than last year. And I've said it 100 times and I'll say it again. If last year watching Brady win a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made you angry or upset or you disliked it, I feel sorry for you, because we're witnessing one of the greatest things you will ever see in sport. And we're lucky. Like, people like me, I say, I never saw Jordan. I was too young. I didn't watch basketball. I never saw Michael Jordan. I didn't know how good he was. It was my old man, who's a mild basketball fan, barely a basketball fan. He couldn't name more than 3 players in the NBA right now. Still talks about when he used to watch Michael Jordan. Why can't we just enjoy this? I hope it continues. I hope he wins 3 more. I hope he wins.
Me too.
Genuinely, if it's not the Cowboys, I hope Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl. I just can't wait. And then let's do the games test. They open against the Cowboys. I think they beat the Cowboys opening day. It's at home.
We should.
Cowboys have never beaten Tom Brady. I don't think they're going to start now. I'd love them to, but I don't think it'll happen. They then get the Atlanta Falcons, which they will win. They'll get the Rams in LA, which I'm going to give that. I'm going to say the Cowboys or the Rams, they'll lose one of them.
Lose one of them.
Lose one of them. Then they go to New England, which is going to be fucking outstanding. Brady going back to Foxborough. But you know what? I think Brady wins it. Then they've got the Dolphins at home. They'll beat the Dolphins. They've got the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got the Chicago Bears, and then the New Orleans Saints. I think they'll be 6-2, 7-1, at worst 5-3 after the halfway point. Then they get a bye, and they roll into Washington and New York to start after a bye. Who said Washington will have a good defense, but I don't think the Bucs will have much trouble with them.
It's a funny schedule for the South this year. All the non conference and division games are all up front. Most of the division games are all at the end. So it'll be an interesting run home for all 4 of them.
I'm excited. I think we'll do our predictions at the end, and when we do our predictions, I can't see the Bucs not winning this division. Brady just doesn't have drop off. He shows that he's going to be more comfortable. Plus, the reports came out that he was injured. Do you know that him admitting that is going to get the Bucs fined for not classing an injury on the injury report?
Yeah, because we didn't declare an injury on the injury
Everyone
report.
was like, oh yeah, if he was injured, they would have put it on their report. And then the NFL were like, yeah, we know, we just fined them for it because he was actually injured. We have scans if his knee beat, his MCL being torn. Like I saw my brother yesterday. He tore his MCL playing footy 2 weeks ago. He's in like a big brace. he can barely walk. I'm like, he's just a peasant from playing local footy. This is
he needs some
Brady.
TB12.
Come on, man. Like, that's true. That happened. You can belittle it and say, no, that's not true. They're lying, right? All you want. It fucking happened. There's scans showing it. So I said, I think the Bucks are going to win the division. I think they're going to win it comfortably. I don't think there's going to be much competition in the division. I said, I like Carolina, but I don't think they're good enough to beat the Bucks yet. I think they're trending, but I'm taking Bucks to win this division and win it comfortably. And I'll tell you why, Rich, as we roll over to the Saints. Saints are going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going out here on a limb. I know they've been great for a long time. I know Sean Payton's an outstanding coach. I know they have good players on defense and on offense. I know all that. But what I'm telling you is they lost Drew Brees, who was the savior of their franchise. Before Drew Brees came along, they were fucking dog shit for a long, long time. Go back and look. Archie Manning was their best quarterback before Drew Brees came along. Let that sink in. Archie Manning. That's Peyton's dad. So they were terrible. And now you have a good athlete and a thief to play quarterback. They're your options.
There's...
You can't get it done.
Mate, he sucks. You've buried the lead here, and that's who the hell's the quarterback for this team? Because Taysom Hill, he's not a quarterback. It's not going to be him. I'm telling you, it has to be Winston. And
teams are going to work out Taysom Hill very quickly.
Well, that's what I'm saying, which is why it has to be Winston, because Winston is an actual quarterback. He's not a good one, but he is one.
Mate,
and
he passed 5,000 yards one year.
He also threw 30 picks and fumbled 5 times that year.
He also threw 30 What a wild year that was.
I don't think... Oh, mate, you should have been on the team.
Oh, man, that's a wild year.
So that's obviously a huge issue.
Yep.
What are they going to look like this year? I mean, who really knows? But then I'll give you just a good question. Who's going to help Cameron Jordan rush the passer? And who the hell's going to help Marshawn Lattimore cover downfield?
Thank you. And you know what? Marshawn Lattimore, bit of pressure on him. He was
not have a good year last year.
Player last year at all.
No.
He got frustrated. He did dumb shit things. He was not good last year. But thank you for mentioning the defense. Love Cameron Jordan. Love him.
Yeah, he's great. This is why I pointed him out.
33 when the season starts. So I don't think he's going to get better. I think he's either, at best, he's going to be the same as what he was last year, which is really good. But history tells us he'll start to drop off. Defensive line's hard to play. It's really difficult. You get beaten up. Defensive, offensive line, you get bashed up. It's hard. They lost Alex Anzalone, who was their starting linebacker, who did a good job. Sheldon Rankins, who was a very good defensive tackle for them last year.
He's in New York.
Yep. And Trey Hendrickson, who led their team in sacks last year and was
who's now in Cincinnati. Yep.
All that being said, plus with issues on the back end, I said, I like Lattimore. I really, really like Marcus Williams. I think him getting through what happened his rookie year with that Minnesota Miracle and the shit he took, he could be terrible and I'll always have his back. That was some of the most disgusting things I've ever seen, the way he got treated after that. So, but he's a very, very good safety. And then Marshall Lattimore, who, look, he has the potential to be good, to be very good, to be one of the best in the league, but he's dropped off the last couple of years. Davenport, everyone was up and about a bit about him last year. He was okay. He's going into a contract year, so maybe he's super motivated. But said, I'm not writing home about him. And keep in mind, they gave up 2 first-round picks to get him, which was a terrible move. On Yamada, great defensive tackle, suspended first 6 games. So
that's why I asked, who the hell's going to rush the passer?
They're going to struggle early, and they're going to struggle. I think their defense is going to be very average early. Now, the positives. The offensive line it's elite. I could argue it's the best in the NFL. Eric Armstead's one of the best left tackles in the NFL. Ryan Ramczyk just got a massive deal, one of the best right tackles in the NFL. They've got McCoy, who was a rookie center last year, first-round pick, played outstanding. Ruiz, who was a rookie, I think he's a rookie now. No, McCoy was 2 years ago. Ruiz was last year. He'll play guard. And then you've got Andres Pete, who is an outstanding left guard. Their offensive line's outstanding. And Alvin Kamara may very well be the most dynamic running back in the NFL. I think him and McCaffrey are the two guys who are like, they could both be starting wide receivers if you wanted them to be. They can be whatever you want. So they have got positives there, and they get Mike Thomas back from injury. But the issue with Slant Boy, as we like to call him, is he going to struggle he struggles with Taysom Hill. We know that. We definitely know he struggles with Taysom Hill. Is he going to struggle with Winston? Are they going to have chemistry? They've gone from having 0 question marks for over a decade with Drew Brees at the quarterback position. 0. And even last year, I know he got hurt and Taysom Hill filled in well. And the year before he got hurt and Bridgewater filled in well for a few games. But at the end of the day, when push came to shove, they went back to Drew Brees when it mattered, right? Mm-hmm. They don't have that anymore. They don't have that constant. They don't have that leadership. They don't have that solid guy that will do the right thing all the time. And as good a coach as Sean Payton is, we saw it with Belichick in New England last year. Probably not fair to call out Belichick of that, but McDaniels, certainly. Their offense was dreadful. He couldn't get anything going with Cam Newton but running the ball, and he's a quarterback. So you see this happen, and it's normally the first year is when it's the worst because they haven't worked out things. They think, oh, yeah, Taysom Hill can make that throw that Drew Brees used to make for me all the time. Jameis Winston can make that read and hit that route, and then they see it thrown, it gets intercepted, and they go, wow, I never realized how important Drew Brees was. So that's where I'm at with them. I think the Saints are going to drop off. I don't think they're going to be terrible. They're not going to be like a bottom of the league. They'll probably be around the wild card, that 6 or 7 seed. I think they'll be around that mark because they've got talent. But I don't think they're winning the division, and I don't think they're going to be a 12, 13 win team like they have been the past 6 or 7 years or decade, really. I think they're going to have a significant drop off down somewhere around the 8, 9 win mark for me.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. Like, they've just been up for a really long time. And the biggest reason for why they were is gone.
Yeah. I'm saying, you can say what you want. I can't understand the people who say like, oh, Drew Brees was overrated. Drew Brees had a limited arm strength when he got drafted. Then did his shoulder like severely, and no one really wanted him except for the Saints. And like the Dolphins took a Dante Culpepper who could barely fucking walk. Like you said, as you've said before, Rich, Nick Saban was a coach at the Dolphins, and the sliding doors if Drew Brees goes to the Dolphins in the world.
It's the biggest one in football.
Mate,
it's the
college
biggest one in football.
Everything would be changed. But as I said, like Drew Brees did a lot with the littlest of a lot of star quarter. Like he holds most of the records. Now Brady will break them all, but he holds them all, and he's been there for a long time. So, I think just blowing that off and being like, oh, Brees wasn't that good last year. They're going to be better. I've heard the narrative they're going to be better with Winston or Taysom Hill. You can't replace leadership, and you can't replace a guy who, like having an extra coach out there. Imagine he would have known every single player's route, responsibility, everything. Of course he did. Someone in the huddle went, I don't know what to do. He'd be like, do this, do this, do this. I guarantee you Winston's not knowing that. Winston's not even allowed to fucking go in an Uber. You reckon he's going to know the entire offense? like seriously though, the guy he's not allowed in Ubers. Like, the kid's a fucking moron.
Oh dear.
Like all the talent in the world, but all the reports are that he's a moron, and he has been since the minute he entered the NFL. The minute, like eating W's and shit. Fuck off, Winston. Like I said, I've seen the Winston train, and I don't want to see it again. I'd prefer to watch Taysom Hill. At least he'll be fun. At least there'll be some cool plays.
Look, Winston will be fun for me because he's not going to be very good, which would be great.
Winston, though, is going to play and beat the Bucs one game this year.
Oh,
you know that's going to happen, yeah?
We'll split
and it'll
that.
probably be like week 15 or something when no one gives a shit and they win, and everyone will be like, redemption for Winston.
The South splits. Everyone goes 3-3 almost every year. You might get swept by somebody, but then you'll sweep somebody else. Almost always.
All I know
the
is
South goes 3-3.
When I do my records, I split all the division games.
Me too.
I just make everyone 3-3 to start with. And you know what? Because I say, you'll sweep the Panthers, but you'll drop 2 to the bloody, you'll drop 2 to the Falcons or something like that. Like it always happens. It normally, unless you think one of the teams are going to be fucking dog shit, like 1-win team.
Texans.
Like them. But like, look at Atlanta Falcons in the division last year. They were only won 4 games. 2 of them were in the division.
Yeah. So if you predict them to go 3-3,
You're right.
You're one game off. You're one game off.
And if you gain it there, you lose it somewhere else. That's what I always do. Let's get into the predictions, Rich. I'll go first. I've got the Falcons rounding it out at 4th. I think they'll be around the same mark, 4-12, 5-13. That sort of, or it'd be 5-14.
You got to add another game now.
Yeah, 5-14.
It's going to be so confusing.
5-13. I don't know. Whatever. They'll be on the bottom. The Saints will be 3rd. I think they'll drop off. I don't think they'll be terrible. Again, 7, 8, 9 win mark, something around middle of the pack. But, maybe be in contention with a few weeks left, but then drop off late. I think the Panthers will be 2nd. I think they may be a wild card. They'll have to have a lot of things go right to be a wild card, but I think they've certainly got the potential to be that. When I get to my predictions, I'll probably only have one team from this team in the playoff, from this division in the playoffs, and that'll be the Tampa Bay Bucks for me winning the division. And I think the Tampa Bay Bucks will be a 13-14 win team with a new 17 game schedule. I just think they're so good and they've returned everyone. There's just not many weak spots on that team. Unless Brady, touch wood, or someone really talented gets hurt for them. You can't, which I'm not predicting, and we won't.
No, you can't predict star quarterbacks getting hurt. It'd be like me saying, I've got the Chiefs finishing last because Mahomes gets hurt. Oh, fuck off. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice, good fun. Prediction.
Enjoy having that life when you predict people getting hurt.
Yeah, I predict everyone being healthy. That's how I do it. Anyway,
that's fun, Richie, to predict everyone being healthy. Because the NFL is fun when everyone's healthy.
Exactly, and that's the thing. I wish there were more good quarterbacks. Like, I know I've ragged at plenty over the years, and I just laid into Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, but I wish every team had a great one. How fucking good would the football be?
Imagine if every team had Tom Brady, or every team had Patrick Mahomes. Like, can you imagine how good that would be?
Jesus.
Like, just watching teams, and the games would be decided on, because when two good quarterbacks play each other, often it's like one mistake they make that decides the game.
Yeah, it's a difference.
Someone making a mistake somewhere that changes the game. That's how fun it is. Anyway, predictions for you.
I'm going to have the Bucks first and the Falcons last as well. But I think I'll have the Saints and the Panthers. One will be, what are you now? You'll be 8-9, and one will be 9-8. But I don't know which one's which yet. I think they're 500 teams, even though that's now technically impossible. No, sorry. You could tie. Yep. Good tie game. But basically, I think both those two teams will be around there because I think the season's set up well for as we said, a good Darnold, healthy McCaffrey Carolina team.
If Darnold's a top 15 quarterback and McCaffrey plays 17 games, they're a playoff team.
Yeah, look out. But that's, I think, where those sort of teams are. I do think the Falcons will be better because I've got
concerns the shit out of me.
Me too, but I think
they
only had 4 wins.
That's true.
So to be better, they've only got to have 5.
And Kyle Pitts could be elite for all we know.
Oh, man, he could be anything. Who knows? I actually think they're better coached. So does that get you 1 win?
Probably.
All right, cool.
It'd be hard to be worse coached than what they were the last couple of years.
Agreed.
And Dan Quinn's now at the Cowboys.
You could see it when Raheem Morris took over, which is so obvious. Oh, yeah, trust me, mate, wait till we get to that. Then you got 2 shit fucking coaches.
McCarthy and Quinn. Yay. Go Cowboys.
You're going to take a generation of good talent and flush it down the toilet.
And you know how much I notice shit coaching. Like, it boils my fucking blood when I watch bad coaching and be like, why are you doing that? Like, why did you make that decision? Why did you decide to run a fake punt and on 4th and 12 when you're up 3 points against Washington, who can't score on offense, and give them the fucking field and give them a chance to take the lead and get all the momentum and then beat you?
How do these guys get paid millions of dollars a year? I just don't get it.
You know why, Richie?
I don't get it.
It is our boys' club. Maybe that's the new Vault T-shirts. It's either going to be the salary cap's a myth, or it's a boys' club. It's got to be one of them because I feel like I could line up that shouldn't.
I feel like I could line up every graduate assistant in the NFL, piff a rock, hit one of them, make him your new OC, and get a better performance.
You take a lot of college OCs and some just bring them in and just create.
There's tons of college offensive coordinators who do a better job.
Cooper Gallup, Ezekiel Elliott, in space and make plays, and they'd be better. Would they be winning? I don't know. They'd be better.
I can't comprehend how you don't get the ball to the good players.
Yeah, well, injuries screwed them last year. We'll get to the NFC East, but that's a tough division to predict because they could all be shit again for all we know.
It is harder to pick than a broken nose, that division. I've spent more time trying to look forward to get to that.
I've never heard that before.
Haven't you?
A broken nose. That's fucking terrific.
I think, what's his name? Billy Birmingham. I think it's on one of the 12th Men CDs. Got to go
really
back into the archives.
Yeah, I like that.
But, fuck it. We'll get to him next week. Who knows? Could be a poo-poo platter.
A poo-poo platter. Did you, I don't think you actually gave your predictions.
I'm still just going to have the Saints second.
Yeah?
Sheerly because of coaching, and those other two teams are missing more pieces.
Yeah. Okay.
I think coaching can get them 8 wins.
Time. So I have garbage time for the week. I wanted to bring something, Rich.
Okay.
I know you're a big TV watcher, and you know I'm not. I'm a big video game player, and I don't watch a lot of TV. Have you watched Bill Burnham's Inside on Netflix?
Bill Burnham's Inside.
Burnham Inside. It's this special he did for Netflix where he basically locks himself in a room in his house for over a year filming this one thing and doesn't speak to anyone or that. I don't know if he actually does it, but it certainly plays out that way. He's a comedian. And it starts like he's like a song comedian. Like he has a lot of funny songs, and it starts off real funny, and then it kind of gets real dark, but still kind of funny. And I seriously, anyone who's seen it, just send me a message because I can't find anyone who's watched it, and I was hoping you'd seen it, Rich. Fuck me, it is outstanding.
I'll check it out.
Goes for about an hour and a half. It's so funny. You'll start hearing you'll listen to the songs and be like, I've heard that song because his songs are now like going viral everywhere from the show. Very funny. Bit of garbage time to finish off, but make sure Bill Burnham Inside. If you haven't watched it, it's worth watching. Hour and a half of your life. I'm gonna watch it again. I think that's how funny I found it.
Oh, really?
Little things I want to like watch again to pick up on. But the songs are funny. There's a song called White Girl's Instagram, which it's like it was written for you. Like it's like everything you would enjoy is in that song. So yeah, very good. Bill Burnham Inside. Get on it. Okay. Richie, do you have anything we should watch?
What have I just watched? Chance on Disney Plus was quite good.
Mandalorian yet?
Which one?
I haven't watched Mandalorian.
Oh, Mandalorian's great.
Yeah,
have you got Disney Plus?
Yeah, I haven't watched The Witcher either.
No, I haven't watched Witcher either.
I don't watch shows. I don't do it often. I don't know.
Do you have a TV in your bedroom?
No, but I have like an iPad and stuff. Like, if I wanted to watch it at night, I could. My problem is I play video games till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning every night.
So that's different. Because my wife and I still like each other. We go to bed at 9:30ish, and we'll watch 2 hours of TV in bed.
See, the problem I have is that my beautiful darling wife gets up at the fucking crack of dawn to go to work. She gets up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. She's a personal trainer. At the moment, obviously, she's not because of lockdown. Thank you, protesters. But she goes to sleep at like 8 o'clock. My night's just starting at 8 o'clock because I get the kids to bed. Normally, she rolls in the door about 7:30 from work. She works the afternoons, and then basically has a shower and goes to bed because she has to get up at the crack of dawn to go to gym. So I get the kids to bed, and then I'm like, bang, like I work, come home, kids, dinner, bed. You know what it's like, Richie, bath, bed, all that sort of stuff. It just gets better as I get older. Fucking bullshit. But yeah, you do all that. By like 8 o'clock, I'm like, okay, now I can start to wind down. Either I'll do a podcast like tonight or, produce one of the fantasy boys, the college boys, or play some video games, have a coaches meeting, have football training, something like that. So I don't get the time to do it other times. So when I get the chance, I don't go to bed before midnight ever. Like ever. So when I get into bed, I'm going to sleep. I don't hop into bed and watch shows for an hour. That's why that's the long story of why I don't watch much shows. I fall asleep instantly when I put TV on. So, but Bill Burnham Inside, didn't make me fall
I'll check it
asleep.
out.
That's why I know
I
it
will
was
check
good.
it out.
Check it out. Richie, that's it for the week. I want to thank all our sponsors, our new sponsor.
Especially the new ones.
I could feel that coming.
Hey, you're doing it.
Seconds. I was trying to fight it off and I could feel it. Dark Horse Electrics, new guy, Dylan, absolute fucking champion. Thank you for
Cool
getting
logo,
on board.
Dylan. Cool logo.
I'd say it was done by Horsey, but he doesn't know Horsey because if you want a cool logo, that's who you go to. But whoever did it, well done. Great logo, even better electrician. Give him a follow on Instagram. I'm going to put it in the description below. Give him a follow. Make sure you get around him. Do what our community does best. Get around the guy. Talk him up. Thank you to Burnley Brewing for your sponsorship. I'll hopefully pick up some beers. This lockdown ends tomorrow and they can open up again. Fingers crossed for them because who gives a shit about my beers? I want them open again so they can start getting some people in their doors. But hopefully that happens tomorrow. Thank you to all our patrons. We will not have another podcast before this month ends. So if you want a chance at the Juju Smith jersey, you've got 6 days to sign up. 5 days to sign up now. So don't miss out. $10 a month. It's worth it. And yeah, a bit of a reveal for next month's on Tuesday. On next week's podcast, I'll reveal next month's, it's a real good one, Rich. Next month. You'd want to be signed up for next month. I'm real happy with it. Richie, thank you as always, mate. Absolutely love your work, and you'll hear from us next week.